Hey, I'm E, you got I am. Anything goes.
Podcast. And like you can see, we have a special guest. You don't see LB today, and that's okay. More to come on that, because I know y'all been asking, so we'll definitely get into that. This podcast can be very offensive. It may stir up some controversy. You may not agree with me. You may totally disagree with them. It is what it is. But if you have not watched this podcast yet, I don't know where you've been. Everybody who's somebody or somebody that's trying to be somebody in Baltimore, you gotta come check in with us. So E, what we got today?
We got a special guest, man. He helping our youth get their, can I say shit together? But no, he helping our youth get their minds right. You want to introduce yourself, bro?
Yeah, my name is Mr. Flowers. I work in Baltimore City Schools. I can be reached on Facebook and IG.
He got IG, y'all. Okay.
What, just Mr. Flowers? You don't want to get that out. Just know that he on
He
it.
like, look, just look me up.
On IG, you can look me up, but it's Douglas Flowers, Douglas_Flowers. You'll find me.
You will find him. So you say you work for Baltimore City School Systems. How long have you been in Baltimore City School Systems?
I've been in the system for about 14 years, working as a behavioral intervention specialist. For the last 3 years, I've been working as what they call a wholeness specialist. A wholeness specialist is one who deals with emotions. They characterize it as SEL, social emotional learning, and my assignment is to help the students deal with what keeps them out of the classrooms, their emotions.
Their emotions. Okay. So do you think that it's something that needs to be taught in all schools?
Yes, I think it's something that needs to be addressed because what's happening is there's an acronym, it's called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, that a lot of our youth are dealing with, and they don't know how to express their emotions, they don't know how to release anger, they don't know how to sit down and talk with somebody, they just act out and deal with the consequences later.
That is true. So when did you, so you've been working this for 14 years, so when did you know that was really a need for the kids? As soon as you started, or?
Well, I knew it was a need when we started. We started in Walbrook. They were fighting, stabbing, a lot of things were happening in Walbrook. So about me and 7 other comrades, we went into Walbrook and we shut the school down. And when I say shut the school down, we got the school safe, number one. Secondly, we were able to begin to deal with our young people, and mostly our males, because most of our males are definitely lost in terms of being able to express their emotions because they feel their pride overtakes them. They don't want to feel like a chump. They don't want to feel like they're being minimized. So it's hard for them to express themselves because of peer pressure, a lot of them in gang activity, and a lot of them are being dictated to what to do and how to do it rather than thinking on their own.
So have you ever had to put your hands on one of these kids?
Well, we're taught escalation, de-escalation. So as a means for that, I was in Baltimore Community High School, and a student assaulted me with a razor in between his hands. I took my eyes off, and we had some words checking in because we had to process because our kids bring guns, knives, and mace to school. So in processing the student, he had his hood on him. I asked him to leave his hood, to move his hood. He pushed up in the line. I took my eyes off of him. When he came back, I looked up. He had hit me across the eye with the razor blade. I seen the blood. So they had, in the banks, they had those things that separate the people when they're going through. So I had to get up under there and to get to him. But in my training, I didn't hit the kid. I thrust the kid in his chest, and he hit the floor. When he hit the floor, he hit the back of his head. I was more fearful that he had lost his life because he was unconscious for a minute. So I've never put my hands physically on a kid. I restrain kids, and there's a way that we were taught through the training and some of the street protocol in terms of how to do that.
Right. Shit, so what would you say, like, you do with these kids? Like, what's the process? Like, if the kid come with the anger problem, what y'all just talk to them? Because some motherfuckers don't want to hear what y'all got to say. So at that point, what's the next step?
Well, I have a whole room. My whole room is not set up like classrooms. I got a slick couch in there. I got some nice looking chairs that are put in a circle because in restorative practice, I do a circle. What the circle consists of is asking maybe 4 to 5 questions, starting with what happened. The last question in the restorative questionnaire is, what do you think we can do to make this right? So when the kid comes to the room angry, upset, I'll just let him chill. I'll let him calm down, because you can't speak the anger when it's raging. So I allow them to calm down. When they calm down, then I begin the process. What's going on, champ? You eat today? You ain't had nothing to eat? Some may say we ain't got no food at home. My mother put me out, because all anger stems from something.
Right.
And what I find and believe is that a lot of these things that are happening to them are happening even before they get to the building. So, in knowing that, I begin to speak to that. And what's prime is building relationships. Because a lot of the young men in their mindset, they gangsters. I know the lifestyle. I live the lifestyle. I grew up in Lexington Terrace projects. I know the lifestyle. I know what it is to be in prison. I know what it is to get a little piece of money. I know what they are living now, but they're living under a false illusion, because
Right.
nobody told them or has been telling them what prison consists of. When I go in juvie, a lot of them are crying to come back home, wishing they can get back into school. But through decisions, some may never see the streets again.
Right.
So you say you go to the juvie. So you go there to visit them, or?
Well, I have a PRP. I'm a part of a psychiatric rehabilitation program where we deal with mental health services. Our community is suffering because of mental health services.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Our community. And when you mean our community, you're talking about black people, colored boys, colored girls.
Our African American community
Yes.
is suffering because of mental health issues, and a lot of people are getting grant money and just pocketing the money, and they're not relaying these services to really help these kids.
So would you consider what you do a form of therapy?
It is a form of therapy, and we have licensed clinicians, we have therapists. I consider myself to be a therapist without the license.
Okay.
And the reason I make that disclaimer is because through experiences, I've been able to build relationships and speak to some of the anger and get these kids some help, which they really need.
So do you just only speak to the children, or do you go in and speak to some of the family members?
It starts in the home, and a lot of our homes are broken. Crack, heroin, alcoholism, our homes are broken. So our kids are coming from a broken home, and they're coming into a school system where it's more than it's just about academics. Mm-hmm. They're searching. I had a student at Baltimore Community High School where she lived in a crack infested house. I had to sleep on the dining room table. I had to help this girl get food. I even had to pay for her graduation because the girl was smart. She in college doing her thing right now. So the situation that she was faced with wasn't her reality,
Right.
but she was caught up in it. Because before her mother would buy food and clothes, she had to get that crack. And addiction is very, very prime in our community, and it's affecting our young men. Mainly because they smoking some stuff. They don't even know what they smoking. They don't even want to take the the vaccination. So everybody want to question the vaccination, but they out here drugging. Yeah, they out here drugging. They don't ask the dealer what's in this before they buy it. They just heard that so and so got a bomb, and that's where we
the
at.
bomb gonna make you feel good, and it's all about the feeling.
True.
I don't talk about that vaccination.
True, but this is what I want to ask. Back to my first question when I said, do you think it should just be taught amongst all schools? Do you think it should be started in elementary school, like emotional behavior development? Because that's not even in the curriculum.
That's true. A lot of our teachers are taught a curriculum, but they're not taught behavioral intervention, number one. Mm-hmm. They study in college for craft, but they're not taught how to deal with our children. So as a result of that, they know how to do the curriculum, they don't know how to deal with the behaviors. So I'm right in a building where there's an elementary school, and they're off the hook. When I say off the hook, they're off the hook. They approach the grounds, fussing, cussing, doing everything they can get away with, and the leadership is mandatory. And we're not getting that in our schools. So when you're in a school where you got 240 on a roll and only 80 showing up, and out of the 80 that's showing up, half of them got IEPs or 504s, meaning something's wrong with me. And I'm looking to you to help me.
That's true. Can you explain to some of the people who are watching what a 504 is and an IEP, because it's two different things?
Well, an IEP is meaning there are some behavioral issues that have been duly noted through tracking your schooling. Counselors just sit down, they wrote out, say you got anger issues, say you got an issue with second authority. Some of the stuff may go in your IEP. A 504 is a plan that's rolled out as to how are we going to address them, how are we going to help you get to the next level. And then you're given to a case manager, but if a case manager got 50 students, she's overworked or he's overworked already. So a lot of things go in on the paper, but the real help is not being given to the students. And at the end of the day, they suffer because you taking home a fat paycheck, but these kids taking back home misery.
That is true. So do you think it's the staffing because of the funding of Baltimore City schools that maybe that needs to be done, or do you think people just there for the wrong reasons?
The latter. Baltimore City been getting some good money in these schools.
So they've been using it in the schools.
Yes, they've been getting some great money to take home to send their kids to college, to buy their houses, buy their cars. Yet our children are suffering because of the fact, if your heart not in this work, you ain't gonna survive.
That's true.
Or it could just be simple as greed.
Yeah.
Money.
Money. And we've been duly noted in Baltimore City to be after the money, whether it's in City Hall, whether it's in the state office. People are capitalizing off of the pain of our children.
That is true. I agree.
Do you think like any kids are like unsavable, like they just too far gone? Or do you think you can save every kid if they go through your process?
I believe this is my honest belief. There's potential in everybody. Now, how massive the potential has been buried under the situations that they may be going through, there's potential in everybody. I think our job as adults is to go and find that potential and build upon it. So to answer the question, I believe now there are some students, not just students, adults, who have literally through decision making have thrown their lives away. That's evident. Can that be rehabilitated? Not if they are left to their own devices.
Right.
They need somebody like a doctor to go in and do some surgery. So can they be saved? I believe, my desire was to go into elementary school. I wanted to catch them young.
Right.
But for some reason, God ain't had that plan for me. I keep catching these alternative cases. And I believe that's where my skill set works best at, because we've been able to turn boys and girls around.
So around what age do you get these kids? Or like what grade?
Ninth grade.
Ninth grade. Okay.
Yeah, 13, 14 years of age, which is
Very important.
also a time where the development stage in the negative has already begun to manifest itself. So that means you got to come right in digging with resources, because a lot of people want to incentivize their way out of this.
That's true.
You can't incentivize your way out. You got to give some concrete, not just love to these kids, but you got to be able to touch them where their pain is. Because if you're going to help me with what I'm dealing with. Don't tell me what I should be doing. Don't tell me you got to do this, because a lot of them buck against that.
Right.
You know, they buck against authority because they ain't used to it. And a lot of our males buck against female authority because they ain't used to it.
So what are some of the advice that you give some of the teachers, and what they're going, like what do you say for them how to approach some of these kids that may be going through this?
Well, I encourage them to build a relationship, number one. I think everything rises and falls on relationship. I believe that to be true. And a lot of them who's never worked with our kids, who are not from our communities, they suffer a lot because of the fact that they try and approach it on their own right, rather than taking it from those who know. And when I say those who know, those who have a handle on what our kids are going through. And I believe it takes a community. I had a community when I was going to school.
If you were a teacher what they got, like, what, 30 kids a class, 19 or something like that? How is it possible to build a relationship with each and every kid? Not to mention, you got this kid for a year, and then you pass them off to the next teacher next year. Like, it's not possible. You think it's possible?
Well, you make a pivotal point. Our kids have been passed on.
That's true.
Okay, they've been passed from one person to the next person, not reaching their potential of where they may be. Now you make a pivotal point. Classrooms were overloaded before COVID. Okay, so still building that relationship where you calling parents. See, a part of the school system is they're not involving the parents. Why? Because the parents are not involved themselves.
That's true.
You for instance, you got a 12, 14-year-old child raising itself because you got to work 2 jobs just to pay the bills. Ain't nobody helping you. And if you're a single parent, a mother, daddy decided to roll out, he ain't there no more. So it's a rigid assignment on a single mother trying to raise a teenager. So they're being raised by BT, MTV, the games, IG. Everybody got a hand in on how they being raised. And then you come home from work and you try and get them to do homework. Excuse my French, say fuck that homework. No goddamn homework. I'm waiting to see my man in the morning. Right. So I can get smoked up. We had kids get dropped off and go around the corner, get smoked up, then come back and want to come in the building. And my principal say don't let them in because they high. But to keep them out there, it keeps them in danger.
That's
right.
Because of the fact anything can happen. I remember they wouldn't let us leave the school.
Yeah, they was chasing. We had hall monitors when I went to school, and I went to damn near all alternative schools, so I kind of understand what you're saying. I went to Calvinton Middle School, and then I went to Southwestern High. So that ain't neither one of them schools around anymore. So I get it when you saying that, and people count you off. Teachers used to come in the room and be like, "I got mine, y'all gotta get yours."
Southwestern gone.
Southwestern been gone. So it was more like we did whatever we wanted as long as we was in the building. Like I used to bring my son to school and leave him in a classroom with one of the teachers, and then run the halls. So I get what you're saying when there's no.
Hold on, you did what?
I left my son in a classroom with a teacher, and I ran the halls. I was a hall walker. I'm serious.
How you leave your son in the school with the teacher?
Because she said she would watch him.
Oh,
okay. I was 15. What
and
you got,
and also you got to understand. You got to understand this too. Attendance numbers is money.
Yeah, sure.
So
I think they only got to show up like once every period or something for the.
Well, what happens is a teacher take attendance every period. You get marked when you come in the building. A teacher take your attendance, but up to a certain time when the budget is cut, if your numbers meet the demand, you catch that money.
Right.
If you don't, then you got to cut teachers. So everything is, especially coming out of COVID, is how we get these kids back in the building. Some are literally taking jobs. Wendy's, McDonald's, and all of them are profiting off of them not coming back to school. And I tell the students, listen, Wendy's and McDonald's might fire you one day. But if you ain't got that diploma, the minimum basis for getting employment is a diploma.
That is true.
That's the bare minimum. Whether you go to college, whether you go to alternative, I think something else that should come in our schools is this. We got a lot of creative young men. Their academics is not their spill, but they good with their hands.
Right.
That is true.
Why can't I teach them carpentry, how to lay bricks? At least they got a skill set that they can take care of themselves, because you can't take care of yourself selling drugs. It don't last.
That is true.
You get on for a minute, it don't last.
The system, in my opinion, I think it's just designed for what they, European ways of what they think how our kids learn. Like some of our kids learn through music, like you were saying, and learn through other ways. So if you have something that's structured like book this, and this, you're going to start having some of those emotional or shutdown moments, or kids being behaved. It's like, what is this? Like some of the stuff I learned, I never used today. I was like, why was I in this class? That was just dumb.
Yeah, like when I had guitar class.
Like, what you in there for? One of my sons, he gets a C every time because he's taking music theory, right? He has to take music theory. He's like, I said, why do you have a C? He has an A and a B on his other class. I said, why you got a C? He's like, Mom, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Well, I don't care about that. I just show up. And he literally tells me show up. And that's what I'm saying. He take his phone out of his pocket, he said, and he start watching YouTube.
And you champion that as a mom?
I'm not championing it, but I'm saying
it
how
sounds
kids.
real championish.
No, it's not championship, but it's saying real. I was a child, so realistically, I'm thinking to myself, if your attention is gone, you just want to show up. I'm not interested in learning what they're teaching me. This ain't the basis for me knowing how to read or write or spell my name and do math to count money. Everything else.
And like sometimes you will just have to show up.
Yeah, and he just say that's what he does.
But even more with the curriculum, our kids are married to these devices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
They,
true.
they married, and coming out of COVID, you know, one thing that the teacher had to try or was trying to be creative with is the fact, how do I get you away from this device? Because that device.
The device they had them on the whole time?
No, I'm talking about the cell phones.
The phone,
You know
right.
why? Because that's the biggest distraction
Right.
in our community. Cell phone.
That's true.
Facebook, IG, a fight break out, everybody got their phone recording. That's the biggest distraction in the classroom.
So do you think phones should be collected?
I think phones shouldn't even be in the school, to be honest. When I was at Baltimore Community High School, when the kids came on campus, we checked their phones in the room, and then they went and got checked in the building. Because you got to process our kids these days. We got girls traveling from different places. I understand they carry the mace. I understand they carry the knife.
Right.
I'm not going to take that from you because I don't know what you got to go home to. It just can't come in the building. Because I don't know if you ever tasted mace, it don't taste pretty good.
Oh, I know.
So my point of preference is I think the phone should be locked up till they got out of school. They don't understand it right now.
Right.
If I had my way, we would go to school Saturday, Sunday, and we would take the phones away.
You'll go to school Saturday and
We
Sunday?
would go to school Monday through Sunday.
Nah.
Every day?
Every day. 300, not 365. I'll give you a month for the summer. Go rejuvenate, refresh yourself.
Every day?
Every single day.
Wow.
I think school should
'Cause
be
we
all
behind.
year round, but I don't think they should go to school every day.
Every Saturday and Sunday. You know why? And some people gonna disagree with this. We behind.
We all behind.
We all, COVID, 18 months of COVID, we all, when I look at the numbers, we all behind. We got 9th and 10th graders reading on the 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade level. You tell me that ain't a problem?
Well,
right?
that ain't happened
But that
during
happened
COVID.
prior before
Yeah.
COVID.
No, but what I'm saying is COVID put us in a deeper, we went deeper with COVID. So if you got an IEP already in the 9th grade, you reading on the 1st or 2nd grade already, and then you get hit with COVID for 18 months, and you had to go on the screen.
But some people are
Hey,
capable of doing that. Sometimes some of our kids learn faster being on the screen. Some of them did very well. So to each his own, I'll say. Even some kids with disabilities who have IEPs, because most kids who have IEPs have disabilities, and most kids who have 504s have behavior issues. So my thing is, some of them do that. But to your point, that was happening prior for kids who don't even have IEPs.
And you know what the system did?
They said go.
The system did a virtual school, all right? Principal, vice principal, they did a virtual school for those who were able to handle that. Everybody else had to come back in the building because they couldn't. So when you run the numbers ain't adding up. And now the state said before you can graduate out the 12th grade, a certain test you got to take.
What's the
You
test?
remember them tests?
What, the MSAP?
The SAT,
Oh.
all those tests you got to. He said, what did he say? MSP.
Well, you
It just used to be so it's placement
The
tests.
MS, he's talking
We take placement tests every time, like 9th grade. You know, all we used to be like, all right, time to take your test.
And these tests are to
They
see
mandatory to see where you are.
to see where you are and see what teachers need to do to help prep you.
Kids
Because
take-
time you get to the 12th grade, if you can't pass the test, you're not gonna get out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're not getting out. Some people were signing off, just sending kids on, but that's detrimental to their well-being.
So,
But we can't punish the kids.
but the thing
That's
about
not
it,
their
how can you say that it's a test, but then it's the no child left behind situation? So you gotta move them on regardless, right? Or they not doing that no more.
Well, that's the verbiage they use.
Mm-hmm.
No child left behind. Look how all our kids left behind.
They still left behind.
Yeah,
regardless
they
if
left behind, but they still moved to the next grade. But like you saying, they probably left behind because they ain't learning shit from the past grade. They should have.
But would it be fair
I
for
shouldn't
you?
have passed. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
would it
ain't
be
passed
fair
no
for
one.
you to come out the 12th grade and you can't even count money?
No,
or can't read?
It definitely ain't fair to me, you know.
Yeah,
But
I don't mean
I'm
you
just saying-
personally. I'm just
no,
saying.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying, I mean, it is what it is. It ain't fair,
Right.
but they looking at it as you can't keep failing kids if we already overpopulated. We gotta make room for the kids that's coming in.
That's coming through. I mean, it's a mixed system. I do agree with you, you know, but when you look at the numbers, when you look at where our kids are, I mean, I went in, what was CVS the other day to buy something, and the bill was $15 and a quarter. I gave the girl a $20 bill and a quarter, and she gave me back almost $15 and some change. And then I said, it's not right. She cussed me out.
Really?
Called the manager. He trying to, I got 3 kids I got to feed. He messing with my goddamn money. I gave him the money. And she was wrong. I told the manager, when you check her drawer at the end of the night and it's not right, call me. I'll come and bring this money back.
Did he call you?
Not only did he call me, she was about $50 short.
Damn.
And you know what I did? Because I heard her say, I got to feed my 3 kids. I paid the bill. Now she ain't on that register no more. You believe that? She ain't on that guy.
Now, did she know you paid the bill?
No, she don't know I paid. The manager know I paid it.
Okay.
You know, but she not on that register no more. But I thought about the 3 kids whose mouth she got to feed, and that's true. But you got not account, baby girl. You been gave all the store money away.
Right. Shit, she
And
might
again,
have
so
fired.
who do we? So this is the thing. So who do we blame for that? For our children who end up becoming our adults.
And that's the moving on process that we're faced with. Now you're absolutely correct. We got young people coming through the system now. They coming through the grades. They passing. They're going to get to that middle school, high school level. Okay, the kids who are not in Baltimore City, you cannot sit in their classrooms after 21.
That's true.
You gone, period, anyway.
Damn.
So if they put me out at 21,
16, you gotta go back to school.
right, if they put me out at 21 years of age without a diploma, what am I going to go to? Outside the janitor, cleaning closet, and if I don't have a cleaning toilets, if I don't have that entrepreneurial mindset, whether it's making T-shirts, whether it's doing something that's going to allow some money to come in, you know what the next step for me is? The streets. And the streets don't love you.
That's true.
The streets never love. But that's what you're pushed through, and if you push through the streets, then you push through the penal system. You push through
You
justice.
get paid off for that.
You get paid. They get paid off
They
you.
definitely get paid off
You
that.
clean in the jail for $1.99 a month.
That's like 1 cent.
I got a question, like back to, you know, the type of students that you deal with.
Okay.
Have you ever had to, like, they might have said something where as though the home was so fucked up you had a reporter going to the home like they was getting like molested or something like that? Like you ever had a situation
Well,
like that?
as a mandatory reporter, because that's who I am in the schools. I'm a mandatory reporter. I tell my students now, in my room I call it is the oasis, a safe place. You can tell Mr. Flowers anything.
Right.
The only thing I gotta tell anybody, if you're talking about suicide or killing somebody,
Okay.
everything else, we gonna get the resources that's in that building. We got a resource in our building getting $1.5 million to service our children. You don't think I'm gonna work the hell out of them?
As you should.
So if they trust me enough to give me the information, I'm going after the resource.
Right.
And that helps them to build a relationship with me because Mr. Flowers looked out for me.
Oh,
A lot of the students or the administration can't get out of the kids what I get out of them. Why? Because I go after their needs. Meet my need first, then talk to me.
That is true.
You know, my mother used to say, you know, my mother was suffering alcoholic, but she used to say, drink my liquor and talk to me. When you get drunk, you tell every goddamn thing.
That's a fact.
You tell shit you don't even want to tell. You feel me?
But so have you ever had a child that was
Well,
getting
I've
molested?
had a girl who was touched. I'll put it that way. Matter of fact, I had a girl and a boy who was touched. The girl was touched by the stepfather, the mother boyfriend, and so I had to go and talk to. Now I'm real good with the school police relationships, and I said I need y'all to handle that because some stuff going on in the house. Now what happens with me is I can't be punitive and be a place where you can come and
Right.
feel good. So I don't deal with the punishment. But the relationships I have with some of the staff, school police or whatever, if I give them something, I know they're gonna take care of it. You know what I mean? And so I'm not saying that the situation, they arrested them or whatever the case is. You know, there's a thin line with me. I don't believe in intelligence.
Right.
I mean, it was, you know, ain't nothing gangster about me. You feel me? But that telling, going to court and all that, that's a hard pill for me to swallow. You know, because I've had it happen to me.
Somebody told on you?
Did it so called. And back then, it was a system with numbers. For instance, you my rap buddy. I won't know you telling on me if you're telling on me till you got in the courtroom. Because you was recognized through the indictment papers through a number.
Oh, okay.
Only to get in
the name
right,
on there.
wasn't the name. Only to get in to find out that it was you.
God damn.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a few minutes ago, but now they just straight out just
Yeah,
they
first
put you up
name
there.
on
Yeah,
paper.
yeah, they just straight tell. Yeah.
So like you still know this person? They still around? Like,
Well, I would say no. I don't still know the person. I knew of the person, right? But through choices and decisions, through changing lifestyle, I've been in a whole nother platform.
right.
And that platform has been to give back. That was one of my promises to God. If I got freed from the situation, period, that I would give back to help out young people, and that's been my press.
All right, but back to the lady where you had to inform the cops, or the young lady. Did that fuck up the relationship between you and her?
No, she came to me with it.
Oh, so she did come to you
Yeah,
with
she
it.
was. Yeah, and
I thought she probably, like you were saying, she told you the information and you heard how fucked up it was that you had to go report it.
Right, no, I didn't have to go and report it because it wasn't suicidal information, and she wouldn't talk about killing herself.
All
But as a trusted source, for instance, if your daughter came to me and gave me something that she wouldn't give to you, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I will go to the proper resource, because if I come to you, you want straight go kill something, and that wasn't the answer. So as a result of me doing it that way, she was able to trust me with other stuff as a means of helping her.
Right.
You was a victim, you know what I mean? Some stuff you're not responsible for. This ain't something new. This stuff been going on. But our students don't have voice. And my desire is for them to have a voice. Because when you have a voice, you can speak to your pain, and when you got a voice, you can speak to what's not right. You don't have to shut up because I'm buying you a chicken box every day.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So with the guy who did rat on you, if he like came to you now and apologized and told you, I know that was fucked up, like, would you accept his apology? And
Yeah. And here's the reason. Because we suffer from lack of forgiveness. What he said, it wasn't wrong. It's just the way he did it. You know what I mean? So my thing is, if you truly changed, or you say you changed, then it's going to put you to the test. Let's see if it's real. Let's see if it's authentic, or you just talking out the side of your neck. See, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you.
right.
Because, a lot of people was sleeping at night, you up all night pulling your hair out and wondering what's going on, and they sleep. But forgiveness for you is for you to be able to have that clarity. To have that foundation that you ain't defined by what you've done, you know what I mean? And be able to move on.
Quality of circumstance. So what is some of the advice that you give the kids before they leave your program?
Well, it's not, I'm in the school system, so I've been in this position for 3 years, so it's a continuation.
Okay.
I was up in, Lock Raven and Taylor this morning, came through the McDonald's line, and one of my former students was handling the money. And she was like, she rung me up. The person before me went before me. That wasn't my bill. So when I got to the line and gave her the money, she didn't give me the right change back. Now this little girl here used to tear the school up. And she said, well, I shouldn't give you nothing back because I know you got it. I'm like, hell no, I want my money back. You know what I mean? But she had me go through the line. I got my food. I turned around and went back through the line and gave her the change. Like $15. But can you imagine what that did to her?
That made her day.
It made her day. She got $15 and that wasn't on her check.
Right.
That's a fact.
But again, it's how it's how you touch their lives that matter. So.
That's true. So you have any advice that you want to give other people that maybe want to get into this line of work, or how should they start? Who should they reach out to?
Well, I would say this, first of all, make sure you got a heart for it. You know, you're gonna get some stuff that you may not agree with, but if you got a heart for the work, it's not gonna be the money, even though the money is needed to do the work.
Right.
That's number one. Secondly, once you find that premise to tap into, you know, start building relationships. I'm not saying run to the school board and sign up to be a wholeness specialist, okay? But behavioral intervention is needed in our community, okay? You can't tell our kids what to do. You gotta work with them and showing them because they've been shown the wrong way, you know? So that's one premise. You know, a lot of people have PRPs, you know, which are psychiatric rehabilitation programs.
Okay.
Some of them are for, you know, helping the students with mental health issues. Some of them just for that money. They pay good money. The state pay you good money for your mental health issue, for somebody to basically watch you, that's all. You know, but nevertheless, if you get into the field, it's a demanding field, but it also is a field that's much needed in our community.
Right. So you never like, cause you seem like back in the day, you probably would have slapped the shit out of one of these kids. So like, what keep you from like going back to what I think might have been the old you?
Yeah.
Cause I don't know for sure. I'm just going off. I feel like back in the day, you was a bitch ass nigga, Mr. Flowers. Fuck you. I hope your mother died. She ain't already dead already. And you might just, you might have strangled one of these little niggas.
Yeah. And
so
what
stopped you from clicking back into that?
Because I know it's more to it than just that. I had a kid to do just what you said to me last week, okay? But he did it going down the hall, okay? He got away from me, number one, and then he sold his tickets, okay? So he was smart, you know, because now I've been tested him in quite a few situations. But again, and a lot of times you don't know what you're going to do till you're faced with the situation.
Right.
You understand? So I've had kids that try, you know, put their hands on me. But again, I know if I beat a kid's ass, if I put my hands on them, I already know I'm going to jail. I already know I'm gonna be the one. Yeah. Well, I ain't worried about them. If I decide to go that route, I've already opened myself up for whatever. But my point is I know the news gonna say staff person at city schools beat the shit out of a student. I already know what it's gonna say. It ain't gonna be on the kids. It's gonna be on me. So I gotta use a measure of, you know, restraint. And the escalation and the de-escalation training, it teaches you can defend yourself. You just can't close your fist and hit a kid in his mouth.
So you saying you can L a kid out?
No, you can ball them up or whatever. It's a way. It's a way to do it. You grab their wrist. It's a way that you restrain them so that they ain't beating the hell out of you, and secondly, they ain't hurting themselves. A lot of people don't get that training. Some staff get popped and they just go for the gusto. And then they wind up losing their jobs and wondering why.
So, did you hear about the incident that occurred at one of our city schools recently? That they maced the principal, slapped the principal, slapped one of the teachers.
Oh, wow.
And then they were outside fighting. These girls, like 10 girls spanked this one girl. It was at a high school. This happened probably like last week.
Last week? No, I didn't get the juice on that.
Because on TikTok, it's this thing going around, slap your teacher challenge.
Oh, really?
Yes. It really is. And they are slapping their teachers.
I'm glad you told me.
They are.
I'm glad you told me. Now, one thing I do is this, and I purposely asked my principal for this, is to put me on the front door. I like to be on the front line. So when they come in, when they come in, we got a metal detector. They try to be slick, this, that, and the third. But me and another person on the door, and you know, I go through their stuff, and I take the mace, I take the knives, and I even take the lighters, because our school on a given day smell like a damn marijuana factory. You know. But my point of preference is I try to take those things because I know if we got that from you, everything else is open. You know.
So how do kids like slip things past the metal detectors?
They don't. The metal detector that you have, it's almost like the ones at the airport. It'll tell you where something is, if that's the case. Now, some of them have jewelry on, where the jewelry might bam, and some of the boys, they'll put stuff in their privates or whatever. I know it ain't gonna go down there.
But the metal detector not gonna detect that? Like,
it'll detect it, but I'm like, you ain't coming in until you give me whatever it is. Whatever it is, give it, because the metal detector, I trust the metal detector before I trust you.
All right, but it's been said that a student got a gun into a school that you may or may not work at.
Right.
So how they get that past the metal detector?
Well, whoever's on the metal detector wasn't on their job.
And all schools don't have metal detectors either.
Well,
no, I'm talking about this school had.
This school had one.
Yeah.
Well, we had somebody say a student had a gun in the building last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I wasn't gonna put you out there though.
Yeah, but guess what? It was never a gun.
Oh, what?
It wasn't even a damn safety pin. They heard somebody say.
Oh, they said that he showed it on Instagram though.
All that was misinformation.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that's what you gotta watch too, because you come to me and you say he done brought some drugs in the school and they hidden in the locker upstairs. Yeah, I'll probably go check the locker, but again, I'm not gonna go to him and chastise him about it till it's factual.
Right.
There was no factual information to prove that a gun was in that building. Number one. Secondly, the person that was involved, parents came up the next day and was like, they was really wanted somebody to be held accountable for that misinformation.
That is true.
You know, so again, because, you know, I don't know if they ran through their house or what or whatever, but not even a safety pin was brought out that situation.
Mm.
But I think schools need metal detectors.
I think all schools should.
I think they are, because we
Every
had,
school.
now have you seen the situation where the boy family takes care of him real good, he was getting bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the kid beat the mess out of him in the class, and he shot about 2-3 people in that school.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if they had a metal detector or not, but he turned himself in with his lawyer.
Mm.
You know, so stuff are happening in our school, stuff is happening in our streets.
Oh, that happened in Baltimore City?
Yeah.
That was in
That was in Texas.
that was in Texas, right? Exactly,
Well,
exactly.
Texas got different type of gun laws too, though.
But he still was a kid. He still broke into school and shot up
Yeah,
people in the school.
and
But
he
being
was
bullied.
being bullied.
But that's where a lot of the mass shootings come from. They say from kids that get bullied and then they come back and.
Yeah,
Well, you should have been bullying that little nigga.
and they got mental health issues.
Yeah.
When they go, they go.
Since we on the subject of bullying, do you believe in cyberbullying?
No, I don't believe in no kind of bullying, because I've
No,
seen
I'm
it
talking
firsthand.
about, like, do you believe in cyberbullying
real
as
thing?
a thing, like a real thing?
I believe it's real.
Okay.
I believe it's real, because we had a situation, not at the school I'm at, the school before that, to come to the school police and all the parent and say that their child was being bullied through social media.
So the child can't just delete the app or block the person? Like,
Well,
that's the part I don't get.
I mean, they could. I mean, I guess being versatile with these phones, you probably could. But the fact
definitely
that
an option.
yeah, the fact that it was happening, and then I don't know about you all, but you can't sleep on a threat these days. You don't know if they're gonna be real or not. You know, I mean, kids threaten me all day long. Flowers, I whoop your head. All right, okay, you say all that slick shit around the camera. You know, or the school police standing up there. You gangster verbally. You know, come in my room. Not that I'm doing anything to them in the room, but I know it's bluffing.
Right.
And they tried you that way. You know, they tried you. Now I work with support staff. You know, you gotta find your own niche.
That's true.
You know, I don't want to put this young lady out, but you know, she more gangster than the people y'all know her. She more gangster than, and she just checking for something else. You know.
And she had to go off with somebody the other day.
Oh, she went there too.
Yeah, I heard about
And she
it.
went there about the people not bringing their slip back. I'm like, man, she gangster. We can ride or die any day of the week. Let's give me her. Let's roll. Yeah, I can turn my back and fight the world with this one.
I want to say thank you for coming here and
Sure.
sharing your story with us, and hopefully
Hold
continue
on,
doing.
can I ask one more
I
question?
thought you was done.
All right. So
Look at
like
him.
being
I'm
in
nervous
the
another question.
being in the school, you know, with all these students and stuff, you never try to get in none of these mothers?
See,
Nah.
that's in this, right?
But let me say this.
I'm
Let me
just saying,
address
I know
that.
be a lot of
They
nice.
be trying to get at me. But here's the thing. Professionalism really stretch your hand. You know.
So
And-
is it not? I mean, is it because of school you work at the school? Because I mean, you gonna meet a woman with kids
I
probably.
mean,
like,
you meet them, but I mean, they ain't, you know, I ain't been like I'm, you know, the kids call me fake Terrence Howard and Steve. they ride me with that. You understand what I'm saying? Someone bring their parents up there, and I'm like, it ain't a cup of tea for me, Chad.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to think it all the way through. I had a parent kept coming. She parked the car, came in, left, came back. I had to tell them at the front door, if she come back, tell her the office gonna handle her situation.
Right.
But I'm just saying, she looked rough. I'm like, what the hell? We ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna help your son. That's about it, baby girl,
So if it was like a parent that the student wasn't in your program?
No.
I'm asking this man the question.
Man said
But the reason I'm saying no is because, one, everything ain't for everybody. Secondly, you got to know how to move in any given situation.
Right.
Because, we got drama queens, male, female, and then when they don't get their way now, they want to write the school board and you violate. I mean, all that crazy stuff. I've seen it happen to people. And they really lost their livelihood. Behind, I don't know, one woman said it was 2 minutes of fame. I don't know what the hell it was. I just know it wasn't worth it. You feel me?
Alright.
Yeah.
All right, now you can close it.
See, I knew he was about to go there. That's like, let's end this. But I want to say thank you and keep wishing you all, if there's any events that you have or you need volunteers, if you tell somebody within a certain amount of time, get the message to us. I don't know about that, but to me, because I do a lot of different community things.
Okay.
I'm willing to come. If you want me to speak to some people, just let me know. Share my story, because I am too far
she
from
got
that.
a wild story
Too far
too.
from that. And just keep doing everything that you've been doing for these kids. I take my hat off to anybody who actually have their heart in it and actually do it for the kids, because whew, honey, you ain't strangled none? Okay.
Yeah, she got 6.
She got 6. Oh, wow.
I have 4. I do have 4.
Oh, my bad. Damn. I'm like sure you had to register. I couldn't count it right. I had to carry the 2. No, but shit, is there anything else you want to say before we close this out?
No, I just, appreciate the opportunity to come and just share, my experiences, not just through the school system. Maybe we come back again, there's a lot, I'm 58 years old, so I got a lot
nice to be 58, see?
I got a lot of, experiences that I know can help people.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if I can help you, I ain't gonna hurt you.
I know that's right.
And we want to thank the kids for having somebody like you to look up to and mentor them. You feel me? Because
it's needed.
Like you said, this shit you do ain't for everybody.
No.
It's a fact for everybody.
No.
On that note, it's been another episode. Anything Goes
Podcast.